Navigating the Storm, Coping with Parental Conflict. Neil sat in his classroom, staring at the page in front of him. The numbers in his math book blurred together, and his teacher's voice seemed distant. His mind kept drifting back home, to the voices that had been growing louder each night. Lately, his parents had been arguing more and more. Sharp words, tense silences, doors closing just a little too hard. Even when they weren't speaking, the house felt different, heavier, as if a storm was brewing inside it. At night, Neil lay awake, listening to the quiet after the shouting had faded. He wished he could stop the storm, or at least understand why it had started. He missed how things used to be, when home felt warm and safe. At school, the storm followed him. His mind felt clouded, his stomach twisted with worry. He couldn't focus. He didn't want to go home, afraid of what he might walk into. But avoiding home didn't stop the storm. It only left him drifting, lost in a sea of thoughts. That afternoon, instead of heading straight home, Neil wandered to the park. He sat by the pond, staring at the water. The surface was calm, but he knew that if the wind picked up, ripples would spread across it, just like the tension at home had spread into his heart. A cool breeze brushed his face. Suddenly, the air began to shift. Mist swirled in front of him, twisting and curling into the shape of a glowing cloud-like figure. A deep yet soothing voice spoke. "I am Zephyr, the guardian of boats. I guide those caught in the wind and waves." Neil blinked. The guardian of boats? Zephyr hovered near him, his misty form shifting like a gentle breeze. "I see a little boat struggling against a storm. The waves of worry toss you about. The wind of fear pushes you away from where you want to go." Neil looked down. "I don't know how to stop it." Zephyr hummed softly. "You may not be able to stop the storm, but you can steady your boat. Find a safe space to express your feelings." Neil frowned. "But I don't even know what to do with all these feelings." Zephyr swirled gently around him. "When the waves inside you feel too strong, find a safe harbor. Write in a journal, draw, or talk to someone you trust. Bottled up storms grow stronger, but letting them out, even just a little, can calm the sea. Sometimes, speaking your feelings aloud is like lighting a lantern in the fog. It helps you see where you are." Neil hesitated. "I guess writing might help, but I don't know if anyone would understand." Zephyr's mist curled thoughtfully. "Even if no one reads your words, they are still yours. The ocean listens, even when no one else does. Create a small comforting routine." Zephyr continued. "A boat stays steady by keeping a rhythm. You can do the same. Small, familiar things, a favorite book before bed, a warm drink, taking deep breaths, can remind you that not everything is changing." Neil nodded. He liked reading at night, but lately he had stopped. "Maybe I could start again." Zephyr's glow brightened. "A steady rhythm keeps a boat from drifting too far. Take breaks when you need to." Neil sighed. "But sometimes, I just feel trapped." Zephyr nodded. "Then step away. Find a quiet moment, even if only for a few minutes. Go outside, stretch, listen to music. Even boats rest in calm waters." Neil thought about how he felt better just sitting by the pond. Maybe finding quiet moments could help. Talk to someone you trust. Neil kicked at the grass. "I don't know who to talk to." Zephyr's voice was gentle. "A teacher, a friend, a counselor. Sometimes the right person is closer than you think. And if you're not ready to talk, that's okay too. Just knowing someone is there can be enough." Neil nodded slowly. Maybe he could tell his best friend Leo a little about what was going on. Remind yourself, this is not your fault. Neil looked at the water. But what if I did something wrong? Zephyr's mist swirled fiercely, almost protectively. The waves crash because of the storm, not the boat. Your parents' arguments are their storm, not yours. You did not cause this. Neil swallowed, nodding. Try setting a worry time. Zephyr's mist curled around Neil. Sometimes waves come whether you want them to or not, but you can choose when to face them. Give yourself a set time, maybe 10 minutes a day, to think about your worries. When that time is up, remind yourself, the ocean is bigger than the storm. Neil thought about it. Maybe if he gave himself just one time a day to worry, he wouldn't have to carry it all the time. Remind yourself, thoughts are not reality. Neil hesitated. What if the worst happens? Zephyr's voice was calm. Storms look endless when you're in them, but they always pass. Your mind may tell you the worst will happen, but not every wave reaches the shore. Remind yourself of what is real right now. Right now, you are here. Right now, you are okay. Neil took a slow breath. Okay. Do you think I should ask them what's going on? Zephyr nods. You can, if you feel ready. There are different ways to navigate rough waters. Here are some things you can do. Talk when you're ready. If you want to talk to your parents, you can start with something simple, like, I've noticed you and Dad have been arguing a lot. It's making me worried. Can you tell me what's happening? Or, I don't like when you fight. It makes me feel scared. Can we talk about it? And if speaking feels too hard, you can always write a note instead. If your parents brush you off. Not every wave will go the way you want. Your parents might say something like, "This isn't something for you to worry about." That doesn't mean they don't care. Sometimes, parents just don't know how to explain things in a way that won't upset you. If that happens, you can gently say, I know you don't want me to worry, but I already am. I just want to understand a little so I don't have to keep guessing. Or, you can try again later when they're calmer. Most importantly, remind yourself that their reaction doesn't mean your feelings don't matter. If your parents say something you don't want to hear, and if the answer is what you fear, we're thinking about separating, then the storm might feel stronger than ever. It's okay to feel sad, upset, or even angry. At least you won't have to keep wondering. And knowing means you can start figuring out how to deal with it, rather than feeling stuck in the unknown. You can ask, what does this mean for me? So you can prepare for what's ahead. You can focus on the things you can control, like taking care of yourself and finding ways to stay steady through the waves. Neil sat quietly, watching the pond. He still didn't like the storm at home, but something felt different now. Maybe he couldn't stop it, but maybe, just maybe, he could learn to sail through it. Zephyr's voice was soft as the wind. The storm may come, but you will not sink. You will get through it. Neil took a deep breath. The storm still raged, but he would keep sailing forward. The end.